Victor Pignones-Haltenhoff turned a single junior tennis academy into a multi-site, multi-revenue business, and it's still growing. In this episode, we dive into how he went from directing a small program to owning the entire club. And now he manages multi-departments, full-time marketing staff, an international expansion, and a growing real estate portfolio. Victor opens up about buying his first house with just $1,000, what COVID taught him about resilience and risk, and how he's using long-term strategy, culture, and systems to elevate a sport club into a scaling business. We also talk about leadership, working with family, letting go of old roles, and why he's competing in Ironmans while mentoring the next generation. This one's about building something bigger, on and off the court, including the American dream, with vision and zero excuses. Welcome to Legacy Unscripted, sponsored by Progeny Coaching. This is the podcast where sports and business collide. I'm your host, Russ Katzman, and here we'll skip the fluff and get straight to the hustle. From athletes turned entrepreneurs to impact-driven business leaders, we dive into the wins, the lessons, and some of those failures that make our legacies worth living. Today, I'm happy to welcome Victor Pignones-Haltenhoff, CEO and owner of Giammalva Racquet Club and Elite Academy. Victor, appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Thanks so much, Ross. I appreciate your time and the invite to be here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good conversation. I want to talk a little bit about your ownership of the club. You weren't the founder, but talk to me about what drove you to want to purchase a club like this.
Well, I think the biggest thing was that I kind of like the American dream pursued, right? Like I come from a different country. I played college tennis, and I landed here as one more job, really. Mm-hmm. I knew exactly the kind of job I wanted. And it wasn't just simply coaching. This is very simple and very easy to fall into the coaching job. Right? You finish college, you play decent tennis, and there's always someone that want to ask you, "Hey, coach," and because it's not a bad hourly rate comparatively to any business job, you fall into that trap, and then 40, 50 years later, you're teaching for your entire life, but there's not really a true path of growing. So I knew exactly the kind of job that I wanted. And that was kind of like a director position, something that I could grow, something that I could feel some ownership of the sort. Luckily, Sami Giammalva was the founder of the club 25-ish years ago. And he was in need of a junior academy director. With my experience in Spain, working in a very big academy with big names, I fit that need, and I started working with him from basically ground zero. We have very few players. I think at the time we got maybe 5 elite players and maybe another 10 average players, so a total of 15. And the club was not very in a good place, was very dated, very few members, revenues. I probably not even fun to even say the number. The fun fact, not even after a year I started the job here, Sami told me, "Victor, I think it's good you start finding another job. I think I'm going to sell the club." So
that's kind of tough to hear.
Yeah, but I was okay with it. I just kept working. I have my idea, I have my vision, what I want to do with the academy, and I literally treat the academy as my own business. And I started from ground up. The academy have so many flaws, no structure, no pathway. So I did just a simple breakdown from where I wanted to be and start building the steps all the way backwards. And 5 years maybe after that, we start really breaking ground, becoming leaders on the market, and went from that number that I told you from players to have over 100 players, and wow. That's a big impact. And And then everything changes. We were able to renovate the club. We were able to do so much more, and it was a big turnout. And I think I was a big part of it, and not just saying it by me, but he always told me that, and that's one of the reasons why he said he ever wanted to sell the club. He wanted me to be the one to take over.
So when did you start seeing yourself as more of a broad owner for the club, that maybe you'd want to own the whole club as opposed to just managing the junior academy?
First, I never saw it tangible because I mean, coming from nothing, it was like, how is this possible? I mean, how is this feasible? First of all, like, how much money I need? That's the number one question. Like, we're talking, it's not like buying a house. I bought my first house with $1,000, right? Like literally $1,000. Was a house that cost $150,000, and down payment help, and you needed $1,000. And really, that's why I started building a little bit of my real estate business. But that's why it really started. And so how am I gonna make it? And it wasn't until after COVID that I started. We talk about it, but I never really pursue it so deeply into like, okay, what are we talking? Like, how much? Like, and then talking to a bank, how much down payment? How much this? Like, really, how much I need? And it wasn't until after COVID that, because of COVID, Sammy is very conservative in a way. We have a lot of old members, so a lot of people are members. Well, tennis is a great sport to practice long term. So that means that you do have a lot of old members that are over 80 that they just come regularly to play. In the beginning of COVID, there was a lot of uncertainties, or how could this affect them? So before even the government shut down the club, Sammy shut down the club, right? And I was not okay with it, right? I was like, no, I can. I have my parents work in here, my mom work on the restaurant, basically working on commission, so no sales, no income, right? And also, they live on one of my properties. They pay me rent. They don't produce money. How am I going to pay rent? So I was not okay with it. So I started like, okay, if you're shutting down, I understand your decision, but now I have to figure something out on my own. So I have good relationships with a lot of people, and I just call one of the high school coaches and say, hey, can I use your court? I'm going to bring my kids. I always been the head of the academy, so a lot of kids that they were not okay with closing. This is Texas. It wasn't as other states that people was freaking out. Of course, there was people freaking out, but so I took like 25, 30 kids, and we continued practicing for the remaining maybe 3-4 weeks, right? And that helped me to sustain everything. After that process, I realized, like, I think I can start flying solo, right? And either with at the club or somewhere else, right? And so when I come back from COVID and Sammy reopened and everything went well, is when I sit down with him and I have this conversation of, and also he was worn out. That brought a lot of stress for him, for being an owner, shutting down the club for 4 weeks, still have notes to pay, you know. And I'm the kind of person that's like, what are the chances that another COVID happen again? I think I'll be pretty safe as a business owner. So we talk numbers. I called the bank. I asked this feasibility if I needed to have another investor to help me out, make it work. I think was maybe a year later is when we closed the deal in 2021.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting that COVID did that to a lot of businesses, right? It made a lot of them made a lot of business owners rethink: do I want to go through the effort of keeping this open again once COVID's done? Do I want to leave the doors closed? Some of them didn't have a choice. Some of them went bankrupt in the process, unfortunately, a lot of restaurants and stuff. But it also forced a lot of people to kind of rethink how they were living their lives and what they wanted out of it. And the fact that you went through that thinking and said, you know what, if I can do this with these guys on my own on these courts, was to say I couldn't do it with the entire club.
Exactly.
And to start look at the feasibility of that. So it sounds like you were ready, and you were ready. He was ready. The timing just kind of worked out, and COVID was just a catalyst to make you think a little bit differently. So
Absolutely.
I love the fact that when you started the junior academy program, or when you started to taking that over, that you kind of set that long-term vision and you work back to what are those actions that need to take place today. How have you brought that same strategic approach to the broader club now?
Well, I do exactly the same for each department. We are so much bigger right now. I would say maybe 4 times bigger than when we originally start. Um, that means that each department had to have his own life. Therefore, each department has to have their own different vision
Right.
that it will fit into the overall vision of the entire club, right? So that's been my biggest goal in the last few years. And the hardest goal was actually to separate myself from the academy.
Oh, I
That's my
bet.
passion. That's my passion. I still teach lessons because it's just what really filled me up, right? As a person, as an athlete, as an everything. I still
Yep.
compete, doing Ironmans, doing marathons, doing stuff like that because I had to have a goal on some sort of something, and building professional athletes or building future athletes is something that really fulfilled me. And each department has to have their own life, and that's how I'm doing right now with every department. The marketing department has been something that I've been focusing a lot to try to make it grow and being the heart of the club, because I noticed on our industry, especially in small sport businesses, not large. Let's not talk Texans. Let's not talk Rockets. Those are massive. They understand the business very well. The small clubs, the small sport industries, everything is so casual. Everything is so reactive. Everything is like, let's see how it goes here. Doesn't work. Let's change. There's truly not a process on anything. So, and I really try to invest time and money on things that I think long run will pay. So I think we might be the only club that have a marketing department with 3 full-time staff, and might be the only club that invests on CRM software and try to not let any lead fall into the cracks. I might be wrong, but I don't see that on any kind of competition in Texas, per se, comparatively to what we do.
Yeah.
Comparatively to what I want to achieve, there's larger clubs like Mototech Glue or IMG. That's the kind of what I compare to, not to the smaller clubs that they just don't do that kind of vision. They don't have that kind of vision. And right now we got new ventures, new ideas. Like I built a small little paddle club. This paddle is a brand new sport. With the, I don't know if you're familiar with it, have the little glass walls in the back.
Yep.
Different business, different revenue, tournaments. It's same as in tennis, but different sport.
Sure.
Different marketing plan, different strategy. And we do that in each department. And that's really what I take a lot of time.
Well, I think when you look at these clubs, whether it be a racket club, whether it be a fitness club, whether it be a combination of both, whatever it is that we're looking at, you can look at the clients in one of a couple different ways. And I think that the small clubs view them one way and the larger clubs view them differently. And that is, are we looking at them as a commodity, right? Are they interchangeable? Do I care if I have 10 people go out the back door this week because I've got 15 coming in the front door? Whereas for you, you're more concerned about, if I've picked up from our original discussion a little bit of this, you're more concerned about every individual that comes through that door. And if you only get 8 through the front door, that's fine because you're protecting the back door. You don't want them to leave. You want to take value in that. And that's why you don't want to have people slip through the cracks. It's why you're concerned about having a CRM in place to make sure that nobody who has an interest can slip through the cracks.
Yeah,
And I
retention
think
is super important.
and yes, and continuing to expand the offerings to meet the needs of the individuals, as opposed to saying, this is who we are, like it or leave it. You know, it's a revolving door. Come in, you do what you want to do. But that's how those small clubs end up staying small.
Yeah,
And they're typically they're franchises and some of that kind of stuff because they're, got standard processes and we do it one way and we do all that's fine. There's a business model for that, and there's a lot of them, and they're very interchangeable, but there's also where you're describing yourself and IMGs and some of the others to where you see it completely different. And it's a different view of what a club should be.
absolutely. No, I agree.
Um, and for those that didn't pick up on it, you're in Houston or the Houston area, the Rockets, the Texans. That's obviously Houston-based teams. Um, Talk to me about kind of your presence there in the metro area. Are you a single location? Are you multiple locations? Give the listeners an idea of kind of your breadth of reach there.
Where we first bought the club, we decided to start management as well as one of our services.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we got the main location, which is here in North Houston. We also manage a location which is like 20 minutes from here as well, at Leloc Farms community. It's like it's a pretty large community actually, with over 3,000 homes. I think it's actually 4,000 homes. And we starting to manage one location in Spain as well.
Oh wow!
And so we do some of management. It's a little bit harder business, but we have the formula how to be successful on each club, and we try to implement that in any place that need help with management as well. So
Now that's intriguing. I didn't know about the Spain one. Talk to me about that location, how that's different than what you're managing here.
it is like starting.
Okay.
I've been trying to get my brother involved with us some way or another. So I started a new venture with him, nothing related with tennis, which is actually a brand we call it's called Ski Grip. It's a 3D printing device to carry skis and poles all in one hand, utility patent and everything. And that's how I'm trying to get him. So we're starting to work together, and now we're trying. I wanted to build also the Giammalva brand in Europe, and he was on board. It was kind of like a give and take. I said, I help you here in the US with this brand that he's an engineer as well. And you needed help here. I said, okay, now you help me with that here. So it was kind of like a combined effort. And so we started there. It's different. The Spanish culture is completely different than what is the American. People's a lot more conservative on expanding the membership. It's a lot cheaper. The clubs. Buying a club is forget about it. There's no way you can do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean we're talking it's outrageous numbers of cost to buy a club, and land is just limited. So the only way you can get into is as a management with a good contract for many years. But then you have to know what you're doing, otherwise you're not gonna hit your numbers.
Yeah, gotcha. So you mentioned the venture there with your brother. I know I caught a little bit earlier about real estate. One of the things you told me when we first talked was you don't like to be bored.
Yes.
Why is that important to you? Why do you have to stay active? What's driving you to do all of these things when you could spend a whole lot of time in the club that you're in?
Why is important? I think I mentioned earlier, I love to develop players. I love to set up goals. The reason people ask me why you keep doing Ironmans, why you keep doing marathons. Like the reason is like, I don't know. I just like to have a goal to work for something. And I think it's just within myself that I have to have something that it motivates me to learn more things and to achieve something, even if I fail. Like right now, I've been quite injured on my back. I haven't been able to run a lot, and I have a marathon in January. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna run the marathon. I might fail on the marathon, but I'm gonna try it and I'm going to give the best. Same thing with businesses. Sometimes, one time I have a peanut business. I built my own brand of peanuts. And
Oh, really?
that was a failure, but I learned so much from it. And I think that's the fun part. You yourself as a business guy, I'm sure you failed many times, and is what you take out of it. And I think I think if you just settle, I don't think there's much purpose of what we do for living beside your family. Yes, I could do the minimum and just enjoy my kids, which I do, but I just like to have that extra motivation and goals to learn and to keep doing better. I don't feel I have accomplished anything yet. That's the fact. And I think I need to keep doing more to accomplish something that is significantly important to in the long run.
Interesting. Before I let it go by the wayside, I've got to know about the peanut business. Give me one or the two of the lessons that you learned along the way from the peanut business. I'm intrigued.
My main learning experience is do something that you're passionate and you love. I jump into that one just because someone knew about it.
Yep.
And I thought I was going to be making money, but that was my mistake. Do something that you love, not something that you think you're going to make money. And the second thing I learned a lot, it was about retail. It's about how you know about what you want to do. You need to know people before you can jump into retail. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
No, that's true too. Yeah, retail is a tough business. Even if you have a spectacular product, sometimes it can just be a tough road to hoe. And it demands a lot of marketing, a lot of patience. You can get to that critical mass of clients or customers, but it takes a while, quite often.
And I was at that time I didn't have the money or the time to make that break, really. And peanuts.
No, I didn't.
Peanut is literally peanuts margins. So you had to sell ton to make a significant break. So I was like, I don't even love this. So just take the loss, move on.
No, I get it. That's funny. You made the comment that you feel as if you really haven't accomplished anything, quote unquote, that you haven't made it yet. Do you have an idea what that would look like? How would you know if you have? What would be the trigger for you? When will you feel, and you look back on, a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and you look back on your legacy and you say, I accomplished something. What would make you be able to say that?
That's a very good question, Russ. Like, would you know that? Do you know that? It's a great question. I don't think it's quantitative.
Yeah.
I don't think it's quantitative. I think it's something that is within. I think it has to be a point that you have to worry about absolute nothing on anything, and all you can do is just enjoy and do what you love 100%. That it has not an outcome goal. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you can wake up, make a couple calls, and then go enjoy your kid, and then make sure everything is automatic. I think at that point probably I will feel accomplished. Right now you have to you always have to be worried about everything and make sure everything is rocking and rolling and getting everything paid and making sure this is done, get this payable done, make sure this client pay. I don't know. This feels like if you're not hustling, things can easily break down.
I think the danger, it's almost a sadness in doing that, is that you can get so hung up with all of the day-to-day, all of the activities of running a business, all of the ins and outs, the paying the bills, the kissing hands and shaking babies and all that kind of stuff that we do, that we forget to take a moment and realize the lives that we've touched and the lives that we've impacted. And you're right. I don't know that there's a quantitative piece of it. I don't know that there's a, oh, I've touched 10,000 lives or anything like that. It's more of a, you know, am I comfortable if I go through this and there's only one person that I impacted, but I had a significant impact on their life? Running a junior academy, you had an impact on probably hundreds of people that came through that were young, that today may not be so young, that are out in the world doing who knows what. Um, and I've got a keynote speech that I give occasionally, and it's about living your legacy in a moment. And I start it with a story of a single conversation that I had with a person that was my supervisor at the time, 30 something years ago. And that single conversation has shaped my leadership philosophy for the last 30 years. The person I had the conversation with, he probably doesn't even know it. Or, if he does, he probably thinks, oh yeah, we had a great conversation. I hope Russ learned from that, etc. He has no idea that leadership philosophy that he shaped in me has touched every one of my clients for the last however many years. The interactions that I had with the teams that I supervised and the businesses that I ran along the way. That single moment, that one conversation, had a chance to shape a legacy that this guy left that he doesn't even realize. And I think when we talk about, have I arrived? Have I accomplished what I needed to? Have I done it? Whatever it is, have I done it? I think we have to be careful in getting too specific about what that looks like and not realizing the impact that we've had along the way on the people that are around us.
I think you're absolutely right. I feel I might impacted way more people as a coach
Yeah.
than as a business person. It's a fact. Many times I see a kid that I don't even recognize because you see them this little and then they come all grown up and they tell you how much you impact their lives, and it's like it's very rewarding actually. But yes, you don't realize, and then you think about it, it's like, but I coached that kid for a week, or versus there's some kids that you coach for 5 years.
Yep.
Of course, you impacted someone that you coached 5 years, but someone that came for like a week and come back years later, say like, oh, you were the best coach he had. He always talk about you for a week. Then you're doing something right. So that's one of the things that you kind of miss, and that's why probably I haven't quit coaching at all, because it's enjoyable, and you can really see that impact, like you said, that you pass along to generations.
Yeah, that's why I love what I do too. I mean, being able to help people in their business, in their life, find life-changing money or life-changing experiences or accomplish goals they never thought they could get to. That's something. It's something pretty valuable. And as a coach, we have the opportunity to do that, whether it's in business or on the court or wherever it is. The interesting part for you now is you have a business of individuals that are in charge of various departments that now report to you. How can you impact the lives of everybody in the club through those individuals? What type of culture have you created with your leaders to be able to impact the others in the club?
Well, I try to continue to do the things that I was doing before in a much bigger spectrum, right? The family environment is a must, and I try to treat them as such. I think sometimes that backfire, but some people just don't understand that even though you might be treated as a family, you still have to do your work. But I do try that with care, but show the hard work and try to lead by example and try to give them pathways. I try to give them goals and trying to share the vision. If they know the vision and they know what you're trying to accomplish and how, you're always going to have bad apples. Uh, but I think that's important part as a team. Being part of a team and a family, we got a big banner in the back saying "Team and Family." Our Wi-Fi code is "Team and Family." It has to come all together, and we try to reinforce it daily.
I like that. And in your case, you quite literally have some family members that work for you, the way it sounds.
In fact, they make it even harder for me, but it's the
They
beauty of it.
probably do.
Yeah, no,
They usually do.
my dad is like my bulldog, but I love him to death. But he's the hardest one.
And what do you have Dad doing around the club?
He's my facility manager, so he's facility manager slash account payables. He pay bills. He manages the maintenance people, and he does more than that because he wants to. He's my bulldog, literally. He's the one that, hey, this look at what happened. Look at what happened here. Look at this coach. This coach did this. Hey, look at he's telling me absolutely more than I actually wants to know, but he just feels very useful like that.
That's good. So where do you want to go with it? Right? We've got a couple locations. You want to do some stuff in Spain with your brother and that kind of thing. But what do you see as the goals for your club? Is it size? Is it opening new locations? What do you have on the radar in 26, 27, 2030? What do you have coming up?
My goal since I bought the club, as I mentioned earlier, my real estate is important, and I understand very well the business I am at, because in the tennis industry, it's very hard to make money because the coach is gonna make. If you want to have a good program, you have to get good coaches, and coaches make most of the money.
Mm-hmm.
We are not a country club, and that's something that is very different than an academy. A country club make a steady income based on membership. A country club might charge you $80,000 to join, and then another $1,000 a month, just because. So members have priority. The club is beautiful. We're talking about downtown Houston or whatever. We're not that. It's impossible in our demographics to do that. So our academy is important. Our members are important, but it's a different demographic. So our programs maintain our club, improve the club, and allow to increase value to the club. So since I understand the business that I'm at, right now the academy and the programs and the memberships, the margins being so little, it just allowed me to keep improving the club. By the time that in 2030, 2035, by the time there's an exit, is to sell good. In fact, we have an appraisal, the value already double of the property in 4 years. That's crazy. Like normally real estate is in good areas, of course, it's 10 to 14 years properties double value. So in 4 years we double our value. So, and just because I keep adding, improving, fixing, upgrading, and that's my move here as a real estate, and that's what I continue acquiring other properties and managing real estate. If the academy does better and better and better and better, that allow me to improve the club, and not taking much out of it other than that's what you need to be comfortable. So that's my ultimate goal. And if I can buy another club and do the same and replicate that, so be it, right? That'll be great.
Okay. Very good. When we started, you talked about coming and coming to America and kind of living that America dream.
Yeah.
What does that American dream look like for you? Do you feel as if you are still living it?
Oh, I definitely feel I'm living it. Have 2 beautiful children, beautiful wife. I think it's hard to explain that things that you couldn't even dream of. You can probably picture as a movie, but not like really could happen. Luckily, I was able to achieve some of it, some sort of independence. No, it's like you become a millionaire. It's not. No, nobody's a millionaire.
Right.
But I think independence is important to the American dream. Like you can make your decisions, you have freedom, and that's why I love this country. I became citizen, and I'm an American now, and that's something that it was a choice, and it was step by step without being obsessed by it. It was
Sure.
just by taking opportunities that presents to me at a time. And I think I have changed so many lives because I bring a lot of international coaches, but you have no idea how many times I offer a job to someone that I know is coming from a country that is probably making $500 a month. And I offer them 10 times the salary or 4 times or 5 times, right? A place to stay. I'm offering something that is a life changing for him. And they say no. So the difference is like I graduated from college and I left. I went back to Spain.
Right.
I didn't have a job here. So I said, like, I'm not going to stay. If I don't have a job, why would I going to force anything? I go back to Spain. I start working there. I got a job offer in Dubai. Have work papers ready to go to Dubai. I got my flight ticket purchased one way. And then in the academy that I work in Barcelona, one guy from Dallas, I told him, yeah, this is the job I want to do. I want to be a director. I don't want to be 10 hours on the court. I want to build something from the ground up. That's my ideal job. For now, I just going to teach until I find that. I'm not going to stay here for forever or find a corporate job, whatever.
Sure.
That guy came back. That guy met Sammy and, hey, Sammy's looking for someone. Okay, well, what am I going to lose? A flight ticket to Houston? Okay, let's go. I came here for 5 days. I saw a different potential in the business that I am, and I decided to come here. So these kind of decisions, I think it make the American dream. These kind of decisions that little by little you start making and sacrificing little by little. Buying a house for $1,000. People might not even want to buy a house because it's too risky.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to have the burden of having a mortgage. Even though you feel you might not afford it, well, tie your shoes but keep paying because you build in equity. Instead of paying someone else the equity or paying someone else the taxes, just make it work. And I think I always have that mentality of making things works versus I cannot afford it. My wife is the opposite of me. She get crazy when you buy another house. I say, like, well, how you making it? I say, like, she doesn't understand. Well, I do a lot of other things she doesn't see behind the scenes to me to save money or to sell these things, or I've been saving little by little money that nobody see behind the scenes and sacrifices. But I make those decisions because I want to and because I believe in it. And because of all of that, I believe in the American dream. And only in America you can do that. In Spain, if you want to buy something, you better have cash. It's impossible otherwise. And if you organize in America, you can buy stuff without money, without having any money. And then you can sell and because the equity you build, and that's really what has been, I guess, my sort of success of buying, building equity, selling, buying more, building equity, selling more.
Same thing you do with the club. You just said it, right? You just build up the value of that real estate in the club in a short period of time, because that's exactly what you're doing. You're buying, you're making those small decisions to improve it. Pretty soon you look at it and it's worth a whole lot more. Now you're not necessarily going to sell it right away, but the equity still stays there.
Yeah.
One more question for you, Victor.
Of course.
It's one I always have to ask. Let's go back to the young Victor that took that flight to Houston. what's the top 1 or 2 lessons that you would tell him about the journey that he has laying ahead of him? Right, looking back on everything you've learned over the years, what's the one thing you wish you'd have known when you took that flight to Houston?
One thing that I wish I would know before I came.
Just, yeah, before you started this journey, this whole journey of coaching into entrepreneurship, what do you wish you'd have known coming into that?
Um, that that's a bit tougher, because to be honest, there's no one thing I would change on the path that I'm on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I have made many mistakes along the way, but I am a lot more. Back then, I was a lot more spontaneous and make decisions. So I would say, give her a nice sleep before making a decision, and not just jump on it right away, because I used to do that a lot. With everything, like peanut business, for example.
Like the peanut business.
So I will tell that guy, give her a thought, sleep on it before making a decision. That's something that, with my personality, it's not easy, but I have learned, especially when you deal with people every day.
Yep.
So I think that will be my number one advice to that young Victor. Just sleep on it and then make a decision. I actually make much better decisions now because of it.
I like it. Victor, anything I haven't asked that you want to make sure you get out there for our viewers?
No, I think, like, again, I didn't have any kind of expectations. I think you asked me. I talk a lot more than I thought I was going to talk, actually.
That's good. They want to hear from you, not from me anyway. Well, we appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks so much, Russ, for your time. This was great.
Thank you. And that's a wrap for this episode of Legacy Unscripted. If today's conversation sparked something in you, don't just let it sit. Take action today to build your future. Make sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this with someone who may need to hear it. And if you've got a story to share or you just want to connect, you know where to find me. Until next time, keep it real, keep it bold, and keep living your legacy.